We are taking a break from our normal programming to enjoy the holidays. But in the meantime, Speculative Sandbox presents the 12 Days of Tropes. Each episode is a secret until you open it, just like a present. And who knows, maybe you'll see one of these tropes fully analyzed with a guest in the future. Mirrors are pretty powerful objects in speculative fiction. They can reveal vampires, expose magic, and show you for who you truly are. Or maybe the mirror itself is magic, like in Sleeping Beauty. Or maybe your mirror has a more functional purpose, like serving as a doorway to a parallel universe, or being used as a practical effects tool. We're all familiar with the setup. A person stands before their bathroom mirror, they're brushing their teeth, washing their face, the vanity sits open, exposing all the medicine bottles and toiletries that are inside. And when they close the vanity, the killer is suddenly exposed in the reflection standing behind them. Before we had mirrors, we had a reflection, which brings us to Narcissus, who saw his reflection in a lake and considered himself so beautiful and stared at himself for so long, he became a flower. Mirrors can be quite magical in fiction, but they can be quite magical outside of fiction as well. Have you ever heard the superstition that breaking a mirror causes 7 years of bad luck? There's a few ways you can reverse this curse, including waiting a few hours before picking up the pieces, then burying them outside during the full moon. Just make sure no one hears you digging. Or you can take a piece of the mirror and touch it to a tombstone, which is also equally strange and creepy. In the game Bloody Mary, children, or adults, close themselves in a darkened bathroom and chant Bloody Mary over and over until her form is supposed to take shape in the mirror. Mirrorworld.co recounts a Greek practice where a witch or a magician dangle a mirror on a thread until its lower edge touches the surface of water. By looking into the mass of reflections created by the mirror and the water reflecting into each other, you could tell the future. It seems throughout history we've been a little uneasy about the person staring back at us. Anthropologists have suspected that our reflections inspired the first conception of a soul. And according to the Paris Review, a Chinese myth once held that images in the mirror were actually demonic beings who are pretending to be a reflection while silently plotting our deaths. Which, quite honestly, what do they benefit from that? If you're dead, where do they go? For those with mirrors in your room, be careful you don't face it towards your bed. The spirits hiding in your mirror will suck out your soul while you're most vulnerable, asleep. And finally, in Jewish tradition, it is common to cover mirrors in the event of a death until the body is buried. Otherwise, their soul might risk getting trapped inside. Okay, so that covers all the supernatural, but what about mirrors being used as character or literary devices? In Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, for example, the Scarlet Witch is trapped in a cage of glass, and at some point you see shards cut across her face in her reflection, but that also represents her shattered character. The term mirror can also be used figuratively as applied to two characters who are similar in traits and are complementary to one another within the plot, or when your ending mirrors the beginning of the story, which shows a full circle evolution. Film School Rejects has an extensive list of how mirrors are used as devices, including showing intimacy and self-reflection. So for the writers out there, how do you use mirrors in your writing? If it's different from anything that you've heard, share with us on Instagram and Twitter. Speculative Sandbox is a volunteer-run podcast that relies on the collaboration of fellow creators like you. Join the conversation and participate in fun polls and questionnaires on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. Interested in being in a future episode? Our DMs are open, or you can email speculativesandbox@gmail.com.